Well, actually, part of my PhD research is going to be looking comparatively at other conflicts in the past where they didn't have this pre-social media. So the pre-social media age. So I'll be looking at Rwanda in 1994, and also very interestingly, Hama in Syria, the massacre that happened there in 1982. Because while there was the trickle-down effect and there was some kinds of information coming out, that was more in diplomatic dispatches, which had the number of deaths in Hama at 5,000, whereas 13, 14 years later, they were saying it's more like 25,000. So I'm going to be exploring that, looking at would we ever have known about Syria if it wasn't for social media? My main hypothesis is we would know eventually, but we certainly wouldn't know in the level of detail, and we certainly wouldn't have the amount of content which we have now that's depicting, especially visual material, which I've spoken to many people, and it can be argued specifically stuff that depicts crimes against humanity, things that are massacres. That's not only giving us information about what's happening, but at a later stage, who knows, it could end up being in The Hague as part of evidence in a trial. So I think we might know what's happening, but I don't think we would know anywhere to the extent we do, and we certainly wouldn't be able to report it in the way we have been. In the research that I was doing, I did interviews with a number of staff from different departments in the BBC, and the thing that I asked them is the BBC obviously strives to be balanced and impartial. How do you achieve that when 90% of the content you're getting is from anti-regime or pro-opposition fighters? And the response I got was largely, we do try, at the start of the conflict, we did have some pro-regime voices, or we do try to have non-aligned people, but as the conflict worsened, those voices trickled away. So my understanding is it's not from lack of trying, it's more been the reluctance of these people to come forward, and they have featured specifically pro-regime voices, or not anti-opposition voices rather, in the UK are more likely to make themselves available. So I have been told that is largely the issue, and as a result, when they do have rebel voices on, they try to set them to task. Like the presenter will say, well, that is your opinion, but obviously there's the other opinion, because it's then up to the BBC to try and strike that balance even with the absence of the voices.